All right, folks, welcome in here. I'm going to do a little severe weather coverage here for you. We're watching a line of severe storms starting to move across parts of Illinois here and central Illinois in our area that we cover. And we want to get you the latest on that. Before we get things kind of rolling here, I do have the chat pulled up. Always like to do just a little bit of a double check to make sure that everybody can hear me okay, see me okay here. And then we're going to delve into what's happening with this line of storms. It's about to hit the Springfield area, the Lincoln area, parts of McLean County here as well. So go ahead and let us know in the chat where you're watching from here this afternoon, and we will interact with you as we track this line of storms that is continuing to move in to parts of central Illinois here this afternoon. So this is the reason for the warning right now. The line is just west of Atlanta, west of Lincoln, and going to be west there of Williamsville, and going to be crossing I-55 in the next few minutes or so. So we're watching this line with mainly a wind damage threat associated with them. So again, looks like we've got some people watching from Mahomet and Oakland and Tuscola. We've got somebody over in Atlanta. If you're in Atlanta there, we're watching that storm Robinson as well. Welcome to everybody who's jumping in here with us on this live stream as we track. Again, there's a line of severe thunderstorms pushing across parts of Logan County into McLean County. The warning does extend into portions of DeWitt County. It stretches down into Sangamon County as well, just kind of clipping the northern edge of it. That whole line does go all the way south and west of that. It currently is not warned, but you can see the polygon box, the severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. And you can see that really strong line of storms. What we're looking at here, and what I can do is switch it over to the velocity. And what we're looking at here are some of these brighter green colors, and that's where you're going to have some stronger winds. So there's some embedded little pockets there of some strong winds that we may get. The nice thing is the Weather Service is going to have a real good view of this thing coming across, because it is going to come right across their office, most likely here in the next few minutes. So you can see there where the Doppler radar is. That's where the Lincoln Central Illinois Weather Service office is located. So that line is going to come right there over the Weather Service office. So our friends over there will most likely be letting us know what is happening. So here's what we're looking at here, folks. I'm going to show you a little bit of a loop on this over the last hour so you can kind of get an idea of where this storm is going as it moves to the south and east. We're talking about, some strong gusty winds there, definitely some heavy rainfall. The nice thing is it is moving, and it is, not remaining stationary, and it's a thin line. So generally, that does not lead to major, flooding, because it is moving as fast. Some of these other storms we've had over the last week or so have been kind of stationary. They don't move a whole lot. And these have got a nice little push to them. So again, here's what you're looking at with the severe weather moving across parts of central Illinois with a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. Again, seeing people tuning in from Farmer City and Tolono, out near Sullivan. We're watching you guys are even over near West Lafayette. How you doing? Lerna is in the house, and also Covington, Indiana. Thanks to all of you tuning in here as we provide you this coverage. It is 2:46 p.m. here this afternoon as we watch this line of storms move in. So let's kind of take a look at this. What we'll do, we'll get real down in on the storms here. And actually what we'll do here, let's do this first, because we've got our storm here that is west of Springfield. And obviously we've got some awesome cameras that we can show you. So let's show you, let's take a glance together, see what it looks like in Springfield. And there you go. There's the darkening skies as that line of storms move in. You're going to have a little bit of a shelf cloud maybe that kicks into the area. And what we'll do here is we'll just take the camera, we'll move it around a little bit and give you a nice little view of the storms there. And you can see, so there it is. That's your classic little shelf cloud that is moving across. And I'm just going to kind of pan this thing a little bit. And you're going to see this pole that kind of gets in the way. Again, our camera located on top of the tallest building there, the Wyndham in Springfield. So a lot of objects and poles and other towers and things on top there. So that's what you're looking at. But let's just kind of pan this thing across all the way, and you can kind of see, well, there's your clearing. So you're looking at more kind of west and north of Springfield, where that strongest line of thunderstorms is located, maybe even a few flashes of lightning showing up in there. So that's what we're looking at there, again, north and west of Springfield. So we're going to be watching that. We'll also keep an eye on some of our other cameras as well as that storm moves in. We've got our Decatur camera that we'll be watching. So again, guys, let's come back to the radar. And then what we'll do here is just take a look at what exactly our storms are doing at this time and zoom down in street level wise to show you. So let's start up here in McLean County, just west of Bloomington. Okay, they've got a nice little storm that's starting to come in there. Technically not warned in that area. Okay, we don't have a warning per se there, but we come down here and we get into McLean, the southwestern McLean County, so west of McLean, Funks Grove area. The warning is there. You can see the updated scan that just came across. So now Atlanta, you're going to start to see that. We stretch right along I-55, back down towards Lincoln. And that leading edge of this severe thunderstorm warned line of cells is kind of moving through here. So we don't see much of a tornadic threat on this, but we got to watch carefully. It's more of a wind threat. Let's go down 55 now, south of Broadwell and Elkhart. We get over here to Williamsville. And that's where the warning technically stops. So yes, we get down here and you can see Springfield's down here. So up there towards the airport, you're going to be hit by that here pretty soon. And then we keep going down there west of Curran. And then we stretch back here towards the Jacksonville area. Waverly, west of Waverly, where storms are. So that is kind of the close view of all of this. Here's the loop once again, just over the past, we'll give you 2 hours so you can get a real idea. You can see how quickly the storms evolved. And so for those of you watching maybe over here in Champaign and Danville and Decatur and Farmers City, wondering where the storm's going to go, you can see that we've got a long ways before that line gets here. Will that line actually maintain its strength? Now, it stretches all the way down there to, north and west of St. Louis. It's a pencil-thin line. We are in that peak kind of heating of the day. This is sort of the time when severe weather can maximize itself. You get, it's hot. It's humid out there. Moisture for these storms to work off of. They love the instability and the energy they can get from those warm, sunny days. And so this is the area we're seeing here. Be curious to see what happens when this comes across the Weather Service office there in Lincoln. I'm just going to kind of check in and see what they're saying over their way. Basically, the warning text on this reads as follows. Severe thunderstorm warning. 60-mile-an-hour winds are the hazards. They're not even mentioning hail. It doesn't look like there's much hail, but it's going to be those little bursts of winds across parts of Logan, northeastern Sangamon County, and technically northwestern DeWitt County as well. We're watching that area. Let's see here. The movement on this is east at about 35 miles per hour. And so the severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect there stretches down from Atlanta southward towards the Sherman area. But listen, to be honest with you, anywhere along this line, you can get some strong winds with this. So we're watching out for that. That's a look at the radar view. Thank you, everybody, tuning in here. Just glancing at some of your chats. Looks like we've got some people from Armstrong. Some people down in Mattoon saying, listen, we don't need anything else. Obviously, Mattoon going through it down there with the water situation. Some of the things happened this past weekend. So feel free, you guys down there. Watching from Charleston, Villa Grove, Neoga, Hoopston, Quincy. Several of you checking in here this afternoon. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us. All right. Wind and rain in New Berlin. And again, guys, here's what I will say, because we get these all the time. It's always the what about my city? What about XYZ city? Here's kind of the general principle of this. We're not talking about you right now. There's really not a threat. You can see just how thin this line is. So somebody's asking, what about Effingham? So Effingham's all the way down here, a long ways before this would get there. It might weaken. It might strengthen. It's super difficult to say. We're kind of in the heat of, when you're in the middle of the event, you just kind of have to, what we call nowcast. And so we're watching the storms as they're happening right now. The models go out the window. We kind of throw all that out because you have to just look at what's happening right now. Well, right now, severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect where this orange box is located. It's called a polygon. And so the polygon there, within that is where the biggest threat is. Now, if you're outside of the polygon and it's stormy, it doesn't say, hey, go outside and, don't worry about anything because it's not going to, you're not under a warning. Well, the classic definition of a warning is there could be severe thunderstorms with winds of 58 miles an hour, quarter-size hail in and around that area, okay? So while the immediate threat is right within that polygon, and especially in this situation because it is this long line of storms, I mean, I got to be honest with them, you look at it, you go, well, that looks still pretty strong there as well. But what we have to look at are specifically within the storms and these little winds, these little pockets of winds. We look for these little brighter green areas. So, there might even be one over there. Okay, you can see, and they're technically just kind of outside of the warning area. So we look for these little brighter colors of green. There might be some stronger winds. I'm not seeing anything that's, overly concerning here at this point. But it is warned, and it's got, probably some gusty winds. You got to watch out for these little kinks in the line. We always have to watch out for that. It'd be, keep an eye on things over there towards the Williamsville area and anywhere along I-55 from Elkhart up to Broadwell as this line continues to move off here to the east. Here's a little bit of the loop so you can kind of see the general direction this thing is going. So this will eventually impact, DeWitt County. Our friends over there in Clinton need to be on the lookout. Northwestern DeWitt County, like Waynesville, Wapella, and Kinney, you guys are technically just right there on the edge of that warning. So I'd be watching over there as that storm moves into parts of DeWitt County. Okay, guys. So it'll be kind of telling what happened, what the Weather Service records when this comes across their area. Again, there is the severe threat that is out there. And so what has happened is the severe thunderstorm watch has been just to our north here. So even if there isn't a watch, that doesn't mean you can't get a warning. It's still definitely possible. But they've been talking about maybe, having to extend that a little bit. So we're not expecting, anything widespread, but we're just kind of teetering right on the edge of where we could have a strong to severe storm that may produce those gusty winds. So again, as you can see, we are, just to give people a little bit of a reference on this here, how far are we from, say, Effingham? 78 miles. Okay. You're talking about 85 miles to, Mattoon and Charleston. It's a long way off. A lot can change. So it is difficult to say, hey, what's going to happen here? What will this line do? Well, I think that the line probably does maintain at least some sort of organization to it as it moves through. Will it increase and strengthen a little bit? There may be a few pockets along this line. I don't think everybody gets severe weather along that whole line, but we're going to have maybe a few areas that we can get some stronger storms. All right, let's come back to our Springfield camera. Oh, boy, look at that. Really kind of kicking around. We're getting that leading edge of the gust front now. Let me see if I can't zoom this out. Yeah, our camera got moved a little bit because that was once pointed right at the Capitol there. So we're getting that leading edge of the gust front where the winds start to kick up. And that's what we're getting right there. Right on that leading edge is where things really start to get windy. Now, I will admit our camera that's up there, it does bounce around a little bit in some wind, but we're right on that leading edge. You can see just kind of the ominous looking view of the cloud there in Springfield and where things are starting to get quite stormy. Oh, we got another gust of wind. Look at that. It just kind of shot it right back up. Try to pan it back down. Yeah, this thing is really susceptible to winds, especially when they're as strong as what potentially that is. But that's definitely an interesting view there, watching that kind of come in now to the west side of Springfield. technically not in the warning, but definitely some gusty winds in there. Okay, guys, just tracking things here for you. Let's bring it back to the radar. Let's see some other locations. All right, so how about we do this at the very least along the warning area. So the movement of this was at about 35 miles an hour. So we'll just kind of, what we do is we just draw a little bit of a line along this here, and then we bring it out to its forward speed. That is a general idea of time of arrival for some of these locations. Okay, so let's look at them here. Sherman here in the next, well, it's on top of you. Riverton 304, Cornland 308, Clinton 316 for you, Illiopolis 323, Farmer City by 330, Forsyth 338. So just a little bit of an idea. If this would stay on its kind of same track, okay, and moving across at least the severe part of that, just a glance at some of the towns that could be impacted by this. I know some of you are saying, hey, we need some of the rain. Some of you have, missed out on it here as of late. I think you're going to get some, but these rains are good. I don't think you're going to get a ton from it because there is a little bit of, forward movement, but the storms are definitely moving in. So there we go. Again, there's Springfield right now. The airport getting it pretty good. I don't want to make you guys too sick watching the shaky camera, but we'll just bring it back out. See, there's my camera again. It got moved. Boy, it is windy. I will say that. It's definitely going to be windy up there as our camera has gotten kicked down at least a couple of times. So there we go again into Springfield. Let's just bring it over and show you the Decatur camera now. And we'll have to move that one around, but I know we've got some people maybe watching over there, curious how things are going to play out. So let's go ahead and take this thing, and we will turn her a little bit more to the west. Still a little far out, but get it far out. Haha. We're going to be watching that area. That's the area that storms could be eventually moving into. Let's see. For right now, these are some of the best camera views. We'll take you to Bloomington. I know Bloomington's getting hit pretty good. I'll show you that. Oh, wow. There you go. So there's Bloomington and Normal. Strong storm. You can see the heavy rainfall. There it is. Bloomington Normal area. Seeing the heavy rain. Gusty winds showing up. So they issued a special weather statement, which basically is the step below a severe thunderstorm warning for Macon, Sangamon, Morgan, Christian, Logan counties. So that's your view there in the Normal area. Over to Bloomington, a similar view with the heavy rainfall. You can see some of the trees there, waving around there in the distance. For all intents and purposes, Bloomington Normal is technically not within the warned area. The Weather Service currently has the storm right over them. We'll see if they record anything. So it's called their ASOS, Automated Surface Observation System, which records all of the pertinent information in terms of wind speed and all the other weather parameters that you may get. And so if there is a gust that gets kind of, close to that, 50 plus mile an hour range, they get an automatic, basically an alert that sends out. And so we can kind of see what the winds are, or else we'll just ask them what came through. Generally speaking, this is looking more like 40 to 50 mile per hour winds here. Let's just kick you back over to the radar and show you the view that we're getting right now. Let's zoom in to the warned area. And then I'm going to take it back up just a little bit to the north. So there's the weather service, right where that little donut hole is. That's actually the Doppler radar. Right in the middle of that is the Doppler radar. So they're having that storm kind of coming across as we speak. Stretching to the south and west of that. Still maybe a little bit of a nudge there out from Williamsville. So Cortland, Lake Fork, Mount Pulaski, I'd be on the lookout here in the next 15 minutes as that line moves in. More storms here. All right, let's go just back up here to the north. Pontiac. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. Come back over here to the north. And up near Pontiac, we probably are going to have another nice view up there of the storms that are coming through. So let's go from the view there they can see. And then we'll get... So there's your Bloomington view again. But let's come back over to Pontiac. And I'm sure there's going to be a dark cloud just to the west. There you go. As you can see, the courthouse there. So pretty intense line of storms with a little flash of lightning there as well. So I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see here. Man, I'm not seeing a ton of winds with that. Definitely some heavy rainfall. So Bloomington normal. You got the storm on top of you. Lincoln, the storm's on top of you. Waynesville on top of you. Heading towards Hayworth. Wapella here before too long. And that's what we're looking at. As far as tornadic weather goes, just not seeing that. Let's actually take a look. I'm just curious to see how much lightning is on this. Okay, so quite a bit of lightning, actually. That's actually a lot of lightning. So this whole line, pretty electrically charged, you can see. And often what we do is just to kind of have an indication of, where is the strongest storm when there is this huge line. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to cycle this down to lightning strikes with the last 5 minutes. Okay. So that's actually pretty decent. So the newer, the ones there that have more of the white color, those are going to be the brand new ones. Though as you get towards the gray color, those are going to be less, or occurred longer ago. Right now, there's a pretty good little complex of lightning that is over there, over Funk's Grove to Randolph. Okay. And then let's see what else. Another little pocket there of lightning that is just northeast of Lincoln, west of Waynesville and Atlanta. And then a few lightning strikes here. Looks like another little pocket west of Cornland, south of Elkhart. I think we had somebody saying Elkhart looks wicked cloud-wise. Reading that in the chat. And then a few more lightning strikes down here west of Springfield. So we look at the general concentration. Again, I can even take this and say, all right, I only want lightning strikes in the past 3 minutes. So these are lightning strikes in the past 3 minutes that have occurred. So several of them now east of Waynesville, south of Elkhart. And that's probably one of the stronger little areas there when we look at it. Notice how this little part kind of juts out a little bit. So it kind of curves, so sometimes you can get some stronger winds within that. So Lake Fork, Mount Pulaski, Cornland, right there along 54. I'd be watching out for that line as it is moving off there to the east. Okay, guys. So boom, coming there towards Mount Pulaski, Lake Fork, and the Cornland area. Let's just show you a 15-minute loop, and you can really see the direction. And looks like we're in the middle of it. There we go. Updated. So right over Cornland now, it's coming in. Probably some gusty winds. So heading through Elkhart right now, Lake Fork in the next few minutes, and Mount Pulaski. Strongest part of the storm that I can see right through there. Maybe a little bulge of some stronger winds. Let's see what it looks like. Just going to glance at something here. So yeah, Elkhart had some good winds there. Maybe just kind of come through east of Elkhart. There's a little area, so Lake Fork to Mount Pulaski. I think that's where we've got the little pocket of some stronger winds that are kind of moving through the area. And here's what I mean by it. We're going to bring you to now, and we're going to say velocity, and it's right there. You see it? That's what I'm talking about. We look for these brighter green colors. And those are telling us that the winds are just a little bit stronger in this area. And that's what we've got here in basically, so the Elkhart's right here, this little pocket right there, a little stronger winds. So to give you a little bit better view of where this is potentially going. So here's Lake Fork, here's Mount Pulaski. These are your strong winds. So these might kind of cut right here between Lake Fork and Mount Pulaski, where those stronger winds are within that storm. So that's what we're seeing here. I can also pull this up on another radar that we use. Bear with me here. So I adjust that. All right, so right there. It's a little bit of an uptick. If we're looking at it, the weather, you're looking at maybe some 50-mile-an-hour winds in there. So it's not like it's the strongest thing, but this is another good indicator. So we're trying to find these little brighter pockets of green. So there's a few of them in there, a few of them in there. That one stands out to me the most. You know, maybe another one over there, but definitely here, and almost the white color there. There's little pixels. See these pixels all indicating a potential wind speed of the green. Now, once the and Hayworth also, I'll tell you that. So you're saying, okay, well, why is it now red over here? Well, it's because the colors of the radar mean something. It means winds away from the radar and towards the radar, okay? And so red away, green towards, and so now we're talking about little pockets here. Now we're talking about the brighter kind of pink colors. So there's a little area there between Waynesville and Midland City. And then definitely, I think up here towards Hayworth, that's looking like maybe some of the stronger winds north of Hayworth right now. So I'd be curious to see and hear what anybody's over there near Hayworth, maybe eventually towards the Leroy area, as this goes off to the east. That little area right there. Those are your stronger winds, okay? And then maybe even up towards Pontiac, west of Pontiac, as that line rolls into Pontiac. I bet our view from the Pontiac camera will be interesting right now as well. Probably even darker than when it was before. So yeah, there you go. Just kind of, yeah, you can even see the winds or the trees kicking up there a little bit. They should see those strong winds rolling in here in the next few minutes or so. Thanks everybody tuning in here on the live stream. I know it's about 3:10, coming up on 3:10. As we've got severe thunderstorms moving across some areas. A little lightning strike there. Continue to see the lightning. Like I said, several lightning strikes associated with this line of storms as it's moving across. Things calming down a little bit in the Bloomington normal area. Hayworth, though, pretty good little storm that came through. I'd be watching over there toward between Downs and Leroy along I-74 and 150. Boy, you can see things really kicking up there now on our Pontiac camera as the rain really starting to roll through. Just reading up on a few things here from the Storm Prediction Center as the severe weather threat does continue. Another special weather statement now for McLean and Champaign County as our line moves in. So once again, there's Pontiac. Can't see the courthouse there now. It is blocked out due with the heavy rain that is moving through the area at this time. So obviously this is some rain, good rain for some. You just hope that we can keep things below the severe weather criteria. We're teetering on the edge of that at this present time. There are several warnings up in the Chicagoland area, and what I'll do is we'll come back off of the Pontiac camera for now, since we can't see much anyways, and then we'll bring it back to the radar, and it's going to show you the Chicagoland area. And west of Chicago in the suburbs, they've got severe thunderstorm warnings all along that area and up there at the airport. And then we make our way down here south again. Pontiac technically not in a warning. It's a pretty strong little cell though. Technically not in a warning up here east of Bloomington. Technically, you are in the warning there between Randolph and Hayworth, and that's going to be heading there between Downs and Leroy, as I mentioned. I just think there's a little heavier pocket of maybe some winds within there. That's what you're looking at with these colors here. The warning does continue. Again, you're getting kind of, things broken up a little bit there, but then you get some intensification. So Wapella to Clinton, I'd be watching out here in the next few minutes because it does look like there's a little pocket of some stronger winds there. Just west of you, south and east of Waynesville. And then maybe not a whole lot more. So we're looking at a few little spots here. Let's just come back in here to Springfield, see what those winds are doing. That doesn't look too terrible. So all along this line, moving to the south and east, here's the movement over the last 45 minutes. So these are marching off to the east at around 35 miles an hour. Keep an eye on things from Farmer City to Clinton. And we'll see if the Weather Service carries any additional warnings off to the east. So far, special weather statements, a slew of special weather statements, which again is that step just below a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see if I can attempt to read off the text from what is known as the special weather statement. So, strong thunderstorms will impact southern Logan, northeastern Sangamon, northern Piatt, DeWitt, southeastern McLean, northwestern Champaign, and northern Macon counties through 3:45 p.m. At 3:12 p.m., Doppler radar was tracking strong thunderstorms along a line extending from near Leroy to Cornland. Movement was east at 40 miles per hour. Wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour and pea-size hail are possible. Locations impacted include Clinton, Mahomet, Leroy, Forsyth, Hayworth, Farmer City, Fisher, Monroe, Mount Pulaski, Williamsville, Warrensburg, Argenta, Mansfield, Oriana, Wapella, DeLand, Waynesville, Weldon, Elkhart, and Latham. That's what we're looking at here, folks. Wide view, severe thunderstorm warning does continue. Elsewhere, they've opted for the special weather statement that we're getting. Will this line hold together? It's a thin line and it's moving. So eventually maybe it does sweep across, the entire viewing area. Will it remain as intense? You're definitely going to see a lot of lightning. I got to tell you, the cloud to ground lightning. So here, more than anything, I want people to just be careful because there's so much lightning in this. I want you to be outdoors when it is doing this. That's kind of the biggest threat right now, to be honest with you. I mean, that whole line is got a lot of lightning strikes. I mean, the whole thing. So even if it's not warned, I mean, the lightning is pretty constant. Let's take you back to just the past 3 minutes to get an idea of the strongest. So it's right over Pontiac right now. There's a nice little complex there, a few lightning strikes there, south of Lexington. You get another little pocket there west of Downs and along I-74. Not so much there near Wapella. And then we get over here west of Midland City. And those lightning strikes still showing up. So just be careful with the lightning out there. Make sure you get indoors. So our line of storms continues to move off to the south and east. Well, let's take a glance at some of our cameras again. Let's see if we can see anything in Pontiac. So there you go. Looks like things calming down a little bit there in Pontiac. Still raining pretty good, but that push, at least where the courthouse there is located, looks to be just a little bit less. We'll do a little bit of a tour here of our cameras. Let's take you back to Springfield as the storm will have passed. You guys from, well, there we go again. My camera has gotten pushed up, looking straight up into the sky. So now I've got to take it and hopefully I've got control, and we do. Fantastic. All right. So you can even see the sun trying to come back out there. We'll pan this around. So the storm now is going to be east of Springfield. So we'll just kind of move the camera around a little bit. Again, a lot of towers, a lot of other broadcasts and cell phone kind of stuff going on up there. So there's your view. Actually, is that the edge? Yeah, kind of the edge of the cloud there behind that tower. All right, so that's our view in Springfield. So what we got in Decatur. And here comes the Decatur camera. In 3, 2, 1. All right, so not seeing much there right now. You're also getting a little bit of a gust front. And so this is kind of interesting. I'm going to show you guys this. Switch over to my other radar product. Take a look at this. All right. So you have what's called a gust front that is occurring. And I'm going to go ahead and come on screen here. But I want to show you guys what this is. So you can see right through here the obvious, reds, the oranges and yellows, the heavy rainfall. That's where the precipitation is falling. But right along, what happens is you get basically downdraft, this rain cooled air that comes rushing out from a thunderstorm out ahead of the line, and it actually can show up on radar. And you see this little area that's right through here. It's really thin, it's small. That's where those winds kick up. So a lot of people think, you get that with the deep dark red and the winds are right within that. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you get this little gust front that's right along there. And so we'll take you back so you can kind of see it. And right through here. So there's a gust front all along. I mean, there's one that starts from near Leroy. It's right through here. You're going to have winds right there along that. South of Clinton. You get over here. This is the wind farm stuff. You see all this? These are the wind farm, the wind turbines over there. That's what that is. Then right through here, through Latham, and then again right ahead of the leading edge, gust front, west of Illiopolis, but the winds are kicking up a little bit there. You can see that little shelf cloud west of Mount Auburn. And it just kind of keeps going. Rain cooled air out ahead of the line. That is your gust front. So hopefully that makes a little sense to you folks out there that are watching. But that gust front, right there. That's where you're going to actually get winds ahead of the storm. So it's not always within the heavy, heavy reds and oranges and yellows. You get some winds right along that leading edge. So that's what that is right there. As a matter of fact, let's watch it. Watch it kind of form. Watch it form. There's nothing there. And then it starts kind of coming off of out ahead as that downdraft from the storm, the rain cooled air comes rushing down. Okay. And now you get this little gust front. And even sometimes it can trigger additional storms along. It almost acts like a little mini cold front. And that's what that little line is. So if you ever see that on radar, don't always discount it because sometimes you can get those winds. And it's actually even more important for people that are like on lakes and whatnot, because a lot of people who are on the lake, they're waiting for this. You're right. The big heavy storms, but those winds can make the chop pretty good out on the lake and have some of those white caps that can start to occur. So like, up at Clinton Lake, even before it stormed, you had that little gust front. They probably had those winds kick up. And so just always something to kind of keep in mind, a little education there on what those gust fronts are. Okay, back to the original radar view. There's our line of storms. Moving to the south and east. No more warnings in effect. Okay, warnings aren't in effect. Everything is now a special weather statement. Okay, special weather statement is what we've got. All right, guys. So here's what we're going to do. So what we like to do is, again, so I'm getting ready for the 4 o'clock newscast. It's about to begin in about 39 minutes. I hope you guys tune in. 4 p.m. If you're not familiar, we do the 4 o'clock newscast on WCAA. We launched it a little over a year ago, and kind of get you that first news there of the day. And it's important right now with the weather coming through. And of course, we got a lot coming up with the Mattoon situation. So I encourage you guys to tune in over there if you can. Also, while I've got you here, I want you guys to download the new WCIA3 Plus app. If you watch us on regular TV and whatnot, great. There are a lot of people that have cut the cord, or they don't want to pay for cable, they don't want to pay for satellite. We have something brand new. It's an app that you can get on Apple TV, on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and you can actually watch us. So now you can watch us there in severe weather. You can watch us there. All the newscasts stream on there. So if you used to get our signal, I've had some people say, "Hey, I used to get you guys back in the day, but my antenna or something changed with the signal, and I just don't get you guys anymore. It didn't come in clear. Comes in clear on this thing, but you got to have." You search for WCA3 Plus, and then you can watch our coverage on there. So this will become important, during severe weather, because some people have satellite, right? And sometimes the satellite goes down when there's rain, right? The heavy rainfall. So you can watch us when we are doing our long form severe weather coverage on air for tornado warnings, things like that, on these apps. So I encourage you to download the app. I'm curious if anybody who is watching on the chat has done that already. And you can watch us anywhere in the country. That's the cool thing. Go on vacation, you still want to check in what's going on at home, you can watch us on these apps. Put it on the Amazon Fire Stick. I know some people travel with their Fire Stick. They take it, put it in their hotel TV, log in, and still be able to watch watch things. So it is really cool staying up with this digital era of things with severe weather, with being able to watch us anywhere we can. Your kids that are going off to college and whatnot, maybe, hey, listen, WCIA, they're on top of the weather a lot. If they're coming to the University of Illinois, have them download our app. And then when the weather's bad, they can flip over here and then kind of get coverage. And because I know, obviously college kids, they don't want to pay for cable and all that. And so free, that's the cool thing too. It's free as long as you have, one of the devices that you can download the app on. So, just want to pass that along to you guys because we're trying to get people to get over there because we want you to be able to kind of watch our coverage in a multitude of different places here. So just wanted to throw that in there. So WCA3 Plus. And I've also got a show on there as well. It's called Behind the Forecast. Okay. That's cool that we interview people. Jeff Frame from the University of Illinois. I did a 2-part interview with him. His second part is coming up tomorrow. You can watch that on Behind the Forecast on the app. All right, just real quick here. A little recap before I'm going to take a little pause as I get ready for the 4 o'clock. But line of storms moving east of Pontiac. Okay, still a pretty little storm there west of Fairbury. Stronger storm there. Nothing is warned right now. Everything has gotten the special weather statement moniker. So the step just below a severe thunderstorm warning. Leroy, storm coming into you right now. I'd be watching out, just keep an eye on things Bellflower to Farmer City. There's nothing severe. This looks like a general thunderstorm with a lot of lightning in it right now. Wapella, west of Clinton. Clinton, this one's going to be on top of you here before too long. And then stretching back down here towards Chestnut, Tunbridge, parts of DeWitt, Macon counties, and Illiopolis, east of town, Rochester. So nothing is warned along this at this point. It is a thin line of storms, but it's a line that is just below what is considered severe. So we're not quite to 58-mile-an-hour winds. We're not quite to quarter-size hail. We're staying below all of those for now. That could change. If it does, we'll jump on here. So what I'm going to do here for now, it's 3:25 p.m. We got the newscast coming up right at 4 o'clock. I'm going to take a little pause here. Since we don't have any warnings, I'm going to leave the radar up for you guys. We're just going to shut off the audio here for the time being, but we'll let you guys watch that little line of storms move in. If they become severe, we'll turn the audio back on. And if not, just tune into 4 o'clock and we'll be on the 4 o'clock newscast breaking down the very latest. I want to thank you guys for tuning in here, hanging out with us here this afternoon. We're always here when there are warnings, and that's the thing to take away from this. When there are warnings in the viewing area, we jump on. We're not always going to be on TV for things unless they, reach that kind of tornado criteria. So we use the platforms that you're watching us on right here. It's Facebook, it's X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. It's our weather app, the news and weather app you can watch us on as well. We're on the YouTubes. We're on WCA.com. We're everywhere. You can't miss us. No excuse not to watch, right? Because we've got you everywhere now on the new Plus apps as well. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you joining me here this afternoon. A little early severe weather. And here's the thing, guys. The heat becomes a huge story in the coming days. There is a little bit of a break coming that you're going to like. We'll share that with you. Talk about next week's brutal heat and the additional thunderstorm and maybe severe weather chances that are, also coming with it into next week. It's not just the heat. We may have some stronger storms, a lot of moisture coming our way here. So we'll pause for right now, keep the radar up, and then we'll jump back on if needed. I'm Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. Thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you. right, folks. Okay, folks, back here with you guys. We are streaming live still as the severe thunderstorm warnings continue now down into portions of Fayette County. So Fayette County has a warning in effect here, and this is going to be approaching Effingham County. A strong storm here just in the last little bit has seen a little bit of an uptick here. So again, a lot of you have been kind of watching here on the side for a bit. We've been the 4 o'clock and the 5 o'clock newscast, but we're back on here with you now. So if you're still with me, let me know that you're still on here on the chat as we broadcast live here for you from the studio. It's 5:35 p.m. Fayette County, severe thunderstorm warning, just kind of rolling through the Ramsey area, heading towards Wrights Corner, Altamont. You'd be next there in Effingham County on the west side there, where we may have that potential for a severe storm, some gusty winds in there. Let's track some of this for you, and we'll fire it up. There it is on the Storm Tracker Doppler as those storms move off there to the east. Let's see what we've got here in terms of some wind within the storms, because that is always an indicator there. Maybe even a little bit of hail. Notice the purple color there north of Vandalia. So Fayette County, let's analyze some of the winds. Yeah, there might be some winds there. Again, we're kind of getting on the outer edge of what is used. So we may have to look at one of the other radar views here to give us a true indicator of some of the winds within that. So we'll be monitoring that. Again, guys, back here with you because we've got another severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. Some strong winds, maybe a little bit of hail associated with our storm down there. Right northeast of Vandalia, some indications of some stronger winds. I'm just going to see. If we look at the St. Louis radar, I'm going to see if I'm seeing anything different in there. Yeah, some gusty winds. Maybe even a little rotation in that. That's kind of interesting. There might even be. Is there? Boy, I was just noticing something maybe within that there. It's so far away, but something to keep an eye on down there. Our storm east of Vandalia, going to be heading into Effingham County. You can see the movement that this thing is taking there off to the east. We're going to watch that. The tornadic threat is very low with our storms here, but it's not 0%. Never 0% around here, as you may know. We're keeping an eye on our storm here coming into Effingham County. I'm going to pull up our camera that is down there. Give us a little bit of a better view. I've been watching, I was watching a storm cloud earlier. I'm curious to see what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to have to adjust the camera a little bit, but yeah, this thing's coming in. So I'm just moving the cameras around a little bit here, swinging them around as storms move into the area in Effingham County. We're pointing this to the south and west there. A lot of people sending us pictures of some of the ominous clouds we've had here tonight. So what we're going to want to do is, so that's looking south and west there. So we'll keep our eyes peeled down that way as our storm heads in that direction. Beecher City to Altamont. I'd be getting ready to watch this storm roll through. Keep an eye on things. And we'll do just that for you as well here from the Weather Center. As we watch our storms approaching from the south and west. All right, I'll be back here in just a little bit as that storm gets a little bit closer into Effingham County.